Hey there, doing some work today on the nursery greenhouse. We got pretty much the whole structure done, so now it's time to work inside. So if you've been following along on the progress with this build, this is going to be my nursery. This greenhouse is from Rimol, and this is going to accompany the 2 tunnels that we have from Farmer's Friend that all the in-ground growing is going on in. So this is double walled and also has louvers and fans that are going to be hooked up to thermostats. So that's what we're basically going to be working on today. I want to try to get in this probably in a week or 2 and get some starts going. So first thing today is we got to get the electrical set up with the fans and louvers and the thermostats. Got most of the electrical done. We're just using outdoor rated extension cords for everything and trying to keep all the connections up as high as possible. So the 2 fans in the back here, we have extension cords running up along the purlin here. Everything's zip tied on. And the way that this system works, there are going to be 2 zones for the cooling. And so behind the camera, you guys have seen there's 2 louvers opposite of the 2 fans. And what we're going to do is we're going to wire them up sort of crisscross. So one louver is going to attach to the fan on the other side, and then similarly for the other direction. And it'll be a 2-stage cooling. So one will kick on like 5 degrees before the other one, so that we're not running both fans all the time. And that's the way it's going to be. Now, ideally, in terms of thermostat placement, you should put the thermostats as close to sort of where the tables and the trays and the plants are going to be. But in such a small greenhouse like this, I talked to Rimol and they said ideally like in the middle would be good. But we're just going to mount them over by the door, and I'll just figure out whatever the temperature differential is. If there's a 3-degree difference from there to the center, I'll just set that to where I think it's good here, and we'll figure that out. I just want to keep everything out of the way as much as possible. I also wired up the blower motor, so let me show you those couple things. Over here in the front corner next to the louvers, and I still haven't mounted the motors that control these, and I will do that soon. And so I want to show you here, this is the blower motor that I was talking about. This is what inflates the space between the 2 layers of plastic, and you know, it just runs all the time. It's super quiet, and yeah, it's working well. We just tried it and it puffed it up pretty good. And then all the wiring comes down here to the thermostats, and so this is where that'll be, and we'll tidy all this up obviously. So the next thing we have to do is work on getting power to the greenhouse, and the way we're going to do that is by running a power cord out to the shed, because there's power in there. So we're going to do that. We're going to bury the line over there, and then after that we're going to work on bringing some water in here so we have water to water our plants. This is what we came up with to get the power from the shed to the greenhouse. We dug a trench here, put a piece of PVC pipe in there, and then ran the extension cord through there. That way we can cover it back up with some soil, and we're going to add some more wood chips here just to mulch this whole area to make it nice. So we'll just connect that into the shed, and then we'll have the extension cord here to plug everything into inside the greenhouse. Super simple. We just didn't want to run an extension cord underground and cause damage to it. This will protect it from, you know, being able to walk on this and drive the lawnmower over here and all that kind of stuff. So should be good. We're going to fill this in and start finishing up the connections inside. We push the soil back over the pipe and then lay down a bunch of wood chips in this area, and you can't even see that it's here, which is fantastic. This whole area is going to stay wood chipped anyways. It's going to be a high traffic area, so we'll just keep this mulched. And now that we have the electrical in there, the next step is to pull some plumbing in there so that we can have a watering wand for watering all the starts. And once we get those 2 things in and installed, we can start working on the bottom edge of the greenhouse and work on that plastic and getting the soil in there. So as I said, before we get the plastic down into the ground and fill in that trench there, we got to get the water and the electrical pulled in. So what I did was we got the electrical pulled in, and then over here, this is the main irrigation line. So if you've been following along on the channel, you guys know that I ran an irrigation line down through here and then around the back side of the tunnels for all that irrigation needs. And the plan here was always to put a T here. So I put a T right here, and this goes into the greenhouse. I'm going to put a spigot in there for using a hose. So let me show you what happened inside. So the water comes in right here, and I got a spigot on here, and I just got to attach it. I didn't get time to do that today. And then all the electrical's kind of tidied up. I still got to put the other thermostat on here, but we're trying to make it as tidy as possible, and we should be good to go. Still have a lot more work to do on this, and we're kind of out of time today. I also got to seat some beds, so I'm gonna go take care of that. We'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next day, and the weather is absolutely beautiful. The weather has been absolutely fantastic the past week or so, and it looks like we have a bunch of nice weather coming up too. It just feels great to be outside. I feel like spring's almost here. I know there'll be a little bit more cool weather, but you know, in March it starts to warm up really nicely here in North Carolina, and the plants are responding really well. I'm getting a lot of growth in the last couple weeks since the sun came out. And today was actually the first day that I harvested here at Satin Hill Farm since rebuilding it, and it feels great and familiar and exciting. And I just really want to thank everyone who helped out, especially Gene and Dave and whoever else pitched in here and made this happen quickly. So it's been a transformation, and getting some food going out tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So some of you guys have been asking about sales outlets. I did talk about this before, but I'm going to be selling to restaurants only. And I know I usually talk about diversifying my sales outlets, but right now I have to keep it really simple just because this is not a full-time job for me on the farm here. And a lot of these are, you know, chefs and restaurants that I've worked with in the past, and some of their friends and people they put me in contact with, and it's just networking and just getting your name out there. And so I have a couple of orders today, but I'm going to be bringing out a lot of samples too, and so that way I can let people know what I'm growing and let them try some stuff. And you know, you can't just show up with stuff, and chefs they're not going to be able to change their menu necessarily, and it's also a little bit tricky with the pandemic. And I think that within a few months, I think the restaurant activity is going to pick up a lot, and I think it's going to be fantastic, especially during the summer when the weather's nice. So really looking forward to that. This morning I was doing my harvest. Gene was trying to finish up some of the stuff in the greenhouse, so let me show you what's been accomplished there. Inside the greenhouse here, and we just want to point out we got that water line at least attached here, and I don't think this is going to be a permanent solution necessarily in terms of the spigot and stuff. I'm not sure, but at least we have water in here right now. We can hook up a hose to water start, so that's good. The project today was really to finish the bottom of the greenhouse, and the thing is that Rimol told us in their instructions that you just leave like 6 inches or 12 inches below that horizontal cross piece there with plastic, and then you just bury that in the soil, and that creates that seal along the bottom, especially on uneven ground like this. But even not on uneven ground, that's what they recommend. And so one thing we were concerned about was, like, you know, the ground is higher up here, and so it wants to come down this way. So what we did is we just put some wood in here just to keep that earth from pushing against the plastic. Otherwise it would just be the plastic holding it up. So we got some boards in here just to sort of hold that back and you know, make it a little bit safer so this stuff doesn't push in. Let me show you what it looks like on the outside. I'm here in front of the greenhouse, and you can see the mulch here. This is gonna be a really nice place to be able to walk through here. This whole area between the nursery and the shed and over here, it's gonna be all mulched and just all taken care of like that. So when it rains a lot, it doesn't get muddy, and we don't have to maintain it. It's hard to, I don't want to mow in here and weed whack and stuff. So we'll just cover the ground with wood chips, and it should be great. And I'll show you the backside too. Back of the greenhouse here, and a nice heavy dose of wood chips along the ground just to keep down weeds and keep it really tidy here. People ask me all the time where I get wood chips from. I just get them from local tree companies, and they're free. So I don't really care what kind they are. They bring them to me. They're not going to landfill, and they're keeping the soil covered and keeping things really tidy, which I absolutely love. So more things to come with the greenhouse. We're almost there. I'm probably gonna get plants in there within like a week or so is what I'm hoping. We got to level the ground a little bit. It's just kind of bumpy and all over the place. And I'm gonna lay down landscape fabric, and we'll start bringing in tables. We're gonna build them mostly out of pallets and whatever we can do for cheap. So they're just to hold trays, so we don't have to make anything fancy. And I'm, as I said, hoping to get some plants in here in about a week or so. And then I'm gonna work on also a potting bench type setup for soil blocking and all that kind of stuff in the nursery. But otherwise, guys, tons of progress here. I'm really excited to take you guys along, and I've really been appreciative of all the nice comments out there for everyone who's been enjoying watching me rebuild the farm here. But again, super pumped to be getting veggies going out, and I'm really happy about everything so far and where it's going. So hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.